You know what I just realized? I'm not in the middle of enough Let's Plays. But this time, instead of playing an old game, I'll play a relatively new game that looks old. So welcome, subscribers, future subscribers, and Steven. I am proud to announce my newest project, Let's Freakin Play NEStalgia. Written, narrated, and poorly edited by the one and only KarmaJolt, who is secretly a small elephant wearing a trench coat and sunglasses. Today, we'll be creating a new hero to begin a new adventure while continuing to recycle the same old jokes from 7 years ago. NEStalgia offers 8 unique character classes, each with their own customizable abilities and skill trees. I have chosen to play as the Conjurer, however, since this particular class enjoys a distinct advantage over the other heroes in one key attribute: frailty. Next, we are directed to the Avatar Creation utility, which allows us to select our hero's gender, face, clothes, ethnicity, hair color, favorite pizza toppings, level of education, income, and gang affiliation. Also, you can give your dude a hat. It seems like the game's developer thought of everything. I commend you, Silk Wizard. Lastly, you are prompted to designate a name to your warrior. I've chosen to name this Conjurer after 5-time NBA champion and Pro Basketball Hall of Famer Dennis the Worm Rodman. Now shut up, it's starting. Our story begins in Crescent Puddle Caverns, where a strange phenomenon is taking place. Despite being entirely devoid of torches, lamps, or windows, the cave is adequately lit and surprisingly well kept. Suddenly, 3 fiery orbs and 1 flaming sphere assimilate in the center of the chamber. Lieutenant Sorcerer Rowan, who is the only Balzacian military personnel whose colors don't coordinate with the others, verbally berates the other knight for his poignant competence. The Magician, who, again, didn't receive the memo to wear red today, explains that he was triple dog dared to touch the mysterious apparitions with his tongue and cannot back down. Well then, at least he's wearing the team colors now. The 4 small balls converge into 1 ball that's still pretty small. Our hero, Dennis Rodman, materializes into existence and is contacted via telepathic link by a character we can only assume is voiced by Joseph Gordon-Levitt. The auditory hallucination insists that your memory has been altered, which must be true because we have no recollection of that. The ominous conversation seems to imply that... Hold on, let me just passively-aggressively apologize to this goon for logging in twice. Anyway, time travel. Pretty heavy-handed, pardon the interruption. Your first quest is to walk north and pretty much do whatever the disembodied communications tell you. Also, please ignore any technical mistakes made by me and pretend that my Let's Plays set an exemplary benchmark for quality and professionalism. Oh shit, dog, a fucking treasure chest. Good thing this guy on the intercom can teach us how to open it, or else we would have had to abandon this harming baton. Be sure to equip your prized bounty to ensure that your physical attacks will still only deal 1 point of damage, even on critical hits. Please note that Open Broadcaster software did not accurately record the position of my mouse cursor, so at certain times it may look as if I am simply clicking random icons. In a sense, that's sort of my strategy for this game anyway. Quelle surprise! It appears that some unknown entity has filed an executive order for your immediate termination. The anonymous organization is so desperate for your death that they have contracted and deployed a level 1 assassin. The Conjurer excels at damage over time spells, as I will demonstrate by casting the Simmer ability. Eventually, Dennis Rodman will also learn healing over time spells to become a mage-cleric hybrid. During this playthrough, I plan to focus on offensive capabilities. Yes, it is important to be as offensive as possible, if that's okay with you guys and gals. Throughout this playthrough of NEStalgia, you will discover many false walls that lead to disappointing secrets and useless treasures. This junior account manager has been sitting in the break room for 3 days waiting for someone to challenge him to a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card duel. Grab the earmuffs of erudition from the wastebasket before continuing your leisurely jog around the shopping center. The self-proclaimed mysterious voice leaves you with a half-hearted breakup message, blaming the relationship's deterioration on poor communication. It's pretty damn convenient that the few decipherable words being transmitted clearly are the ones that are absolutely critical to your mission, and not just a discombobulated mess of static and decontextualized syllables. Without provocation, a weird mobile desk lamp demands that you present your hall pass, then attempts to bite your leg. I always knew that technology would someday turn on humanity, and now it's time for Dennis Rodman to rage against the machine. Never mind, a small tantrum against the machine was more than sufficient. You have reached level 45. It seems as though our unctuous assailant admires our courage and ability to grab rebounds and proposes an alliance. As much as I'd love to join forces with a strong, fiercely loyal monster soldier, I will. The game then requests that you enter a name for your newly acquired companion, but after coming up with Dennis Rodman for the main hero, you're kind of out of ideas. I didn't feel like waiting around forever, so I settled for something stupid and boring. But at least he has a steady income, and he's nice to me, and he cares about my feelings, so don't you dare act like you have the right to judge me about my life choices. And he didn't suddenly go berserk and run away, Maya. He took care of you and helped you with your depression for 3 years while you were content to let your life spiral down the drain. But now that he's actively pursuing his own happiness and finally starting the career he's always wanted, you're aggressively resenting him? You should have seen this coming. So don't try to fake some heartfelt goodbye like you've loved him this whole time, but you were too afraid to express your true feelings. And don't make up some bullshit about how he never respected you or saw you for who you really were, because my man is too good for your conniving, manipulative ass. You can pay your own damn bills from now on. Later, girlfriend. Oh, but before we go, can you briefly explain how the companion system and monster ranch work? Yes, if you couldn't tell by the way I recruited that monster, this game allows you to recruit monsters. So real quick, your party can have a maximum of 3 characters. Those can be human players or AI monster allies. The monsters can be fairly strong, but in general they're not quite good enough to help fight major boss battles unless you really know what you're doing. Furthermore, your AI friends are placed in reserve when traveling with human players, and can add a reserve bonus to your attributes or even give you special abilities. So, for example, this slime will add a small amount to Dennis Rodman's defense if I were partied up with 2 other players and the slime were in my reserve. More on that later. Anyway, it sure as hell smells like a petting zoo in here, so why don't we see about that whole remembering who you are thing? The brief cutscene shows our weary traveler trudging to the nearest civilization without triggering a single random encounter, presumably by logging out and in after every step. At last, we've reached our destination of Skokie, Illinois, known nationally for its world-famous Cajun-style Vermont maple syrup-flavored gel. By shouting into the global chat mechanism, we can enlist the services of other warriors to join us in a noble quest or two. It seems as though these valiant heroes were sitting around with nothing to do and would like to party up to earn some much-needed exp and gold. But before we can complete a job, we have to find a job. Luckily, there are plenty of people in this town who are willing to pay a moderate wage for some trivial duties, like squashing a few spiders or ice skating for a minute. At the behest of King Balzac, all taxes have been increased by much. Excuse the pun, but this Balzac fellow seems like kind of a dick. I bet he's the final boss or something. The woman in the corner of this gazebo has a question mark over her head, as if she just saw a cardboard box walking on its own. By merely having a short conversation about father abduction, we have completed our first storyline quest. Thanks for the help, party members. You earn 0 nothings. At this point, since you only led the league in total rebounds for 7 consecutive seasons, the citizens of South Central LA don't quite trust you to complete anything more complicated than straightforward menial tasks. Specifically, temporary employers in these locations will pay exp, gold, and sometimes items to take on jobs like catching a magic squirrel, pest extermination, ruining the mood, crime fighting, and ice skating. I'd recommend finishing this objective first, since it requires no actual combat and results in an easy level up. Much like in Chip's Challenge, a game which came pre-installed on Windows 95 operating systems, trying to move while standing on ice will cause your hero to infinitely and uncontrollably travel in the specified direction, until his or her path is blocked by an object or wall. In short, it's a damned puzzle. One that can be solved by carelessly sliding in counterclockwise rectangles in order to reach the treasure box. Note that multiple players attempting to navigate this icy labyrinth will not interfere with each other's trajectories. Dennis Rodman has found the rock, like always. Escape this frozen cellar and dish the sphere to one of your teammates with greater ball handling capabilities. The nice lady will reward you with bus fare and a LinkedIn endorsement. Be sure to turn in your quest whenever an NPC looks totally clueless. Also, we leveled up, which is NBD because the skill tree doesn't even become available till level 5. Well, remember the quest involving the red slime? If not, I can show you a brief flashback. We've got to capture one on our own. Unlike with Pokemon, however, our chances of success do not increase depending on how severely we weaken our target. Rather, our capture rate depends on our ability to murder and resuscitate specific creatures. Dangling your keys and exaggerating your intimidation factor can certainly help. A critical hit, no matter how feeble, lets animals know you don't fudge around. Now you can definitively see the fear in your viscous victim's googly eyes. Too bad this newer bee guy always gonna one-up you cause he's so damn insecure about hisself. He probably just mad jealous of your diplomatic friendship with Kim Jong-un. Well, it turns out this weird alien thing likes the cut of your jib and has decided to become a part of your team. We've reached an excellent stopping point in our adventure, which is great because I desperately need to pee. Now we can turn in our quest and for the night. That about does it for the first episode of Let's Freakin' Play NEStalgia. I hope you all enjoyed at least 40% of this presentation. This is KarmaJolt signing off. Until next time, tell your friends I'm great. Alright, yeah, cat, jump off of my shoulders. What's going on, YouTube? I know you missed this beautiful face, and this gorgeous head of hair, and maybe you like my jacket or something. I don't know. But KarmaJolt had to sign back on real quick to tell you guys about something neat that happened to me. When I announced that I was going to be doing a playthrough of NEStalgia, I say announced as if it's like a big deal, and I've got, you know, like more than a couple subscribers. But anyway, I just drunkenly tweeted, hey, you know what, I'm going to do a playthrough of NEStalgia, because that's what I do when I'm drunk at a bar, is I fuck with Twitter. Anyway, the creator of NEStalgia, Silk, also known as Silk Wizard, immediately messaged me and was like, that's great. Here are 10 free download codes for Steam. I know you can only see 4 fingers, but trust me, off screen, I've got a lot more. He gave me 10 free download codes, and I think I'm going to give some of them away. So, because it's like Christmas or some shit, I'm going to be giving away 5 of them with this episode. But what you guys got to do for me is you got to, first of all, subscribe to me. I know, pain in the ass. Follow me on Twitter. That is @CakeMatrix. Also, I need you to follow @SilkGames on Twitter. I'm going to put all that shit in the doobly-doo in the bottom so that you can't fuck it up. And then I need you to share this video on Twitter, on some sort of social media, and I'll put your name into the raffle pool, and I will randomly select 5 of the names in there, and the 5 winners, I'll announce them or whatever. It'll be a huge deal, like all of my announcements, and you'll win a free copy of NEStalgia on Steam. So Merry Christmas, Habari Gani, for if you're into Kwanzaa, I guess, if you celebrate that. I don't really have a good way to do like an outro here, so see ya. I don't know.